It does, in the sense that anyone trying to garner votes from the Southern Baptist Convention knows that, okay, this is how far they're willing to go in terms of anti-abortion and anti-IVF, anti-science. Let's call it what it is. Anti-science, right? This is how far they're willing to go. And if I want to garner their votes, that's how far I have to go, right? So and you already have Trump talking about how I walk side by side with you, right? So they tried it in Alabama, saying that embryos were people. And they realized, oh, wait, the babies we want so bad, the white babies they want so bad. Yeah, if people can't have them, if people can't have them, and then you're cutting off their access to medical support that could allow them to have children. That's the classic textbook definition of it backfired, right? And they had to go and they had to backtrack and put protections in place for IVF. So this idea of an embryo being a person, this is people who don't have any medical degrees that are saying this. So you could take that with a grain of salt.
Well, I just want to clarify. The Southern Baptist Convention in 1995 denounced their previous incarnation that were for slavery and for segregation. So it's not just white babies. They just want Southern Baptist Convention babies.
No, they want white babies. And we can say that. That's the truth. They want
I don't know if that's
white
the truth.
babies.
I gotta push back. There's some black people. There's a lot of black people in Southern Baptist.
There's a concern that they won't exist in several decades. All right? There's a concern. And they have all these theories, right?
Yeah, the replacement theory.
Right. Yeah. So they want
This is the reason why they're fighting immigration so much. Yeah, it's the reason why they're fighting immigration so much. This is because of the great replacement theory is that
they don't care about Black babies. They don't care about Latino babies. They don't care about Asian babies.
Well, there's some Black and some Latino and Asian people in the Southern Baptist Convention. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
There's some in there.
Cults attract all kinds. We saw we see it in every cult. They attract all kinds. And if you just look up the definition of what a cult is, I'm not saying this is one, but it's cultish.
Okay, let's go on to another one of the reasons why they came to this conclusion. They have embryo concerns. A significant issue for the delegates was the creation of multiple embryos through the IVF process, some of which may not ultimately be implanted.
Correct.
IVF often involves creating multiple embryos, as not all embryos may be viable.
That is correct.
They're like, basically in layman's terms, they're like, look, y'all creating all these embryos to try and create these babies, but some of them are not viable. But we think that they're a person and y'all are just discarding them. So we don't agree with that. That's a concern for us.
No, they're not even considering the fact that some of them are not viable. What they're saying is that they exist at all, that they exist, and they are not being used. They're being discarded, and that's akin to murder. Okay. First of all, that's partially true. There are people who donate their embryos to other couples who do not have viable embryos on their own, right? For whatever reason. So embryos can be donated, but it's true, they do make a lot of embryos in the hopes that one will attach. Like one will be viable, one will attach. It's literally a gamble. It's such a gamble, and you increase your odds of conceiving by trying to make embryos, right? And
Mhm.
trying to make viable ones. But again, these embryos, not people. They're
Right.
not
You
people.
miss all the shots you don't take.
Exactly. But if
So-
you're entering into this discussion with the idea that embryos have personhood, you're never going to convince that person.
Mhm.
You're never going to convince that person. So, yeah, I mean, a little bit of this is us preaching to the choir, but because they're already operating from a place of, I want to say idiocy, but a misinformation, or they're uninformed, right?
Okay,
Or
so
the information that they're getting is misinformation, right? The information that they're receiving from either what's being communicated to them by leadership in Southern Baptist Convention, or that they're getting from different quote unquote news sources. I did the air quotes for anybody who's listening. Quote unquote news sources that are giving them this information that is, again, not coming from medical doctors or people that work in the fertility field. You're already operating from a place where you're not going to be receptive to the truth, and you're going to make decisions that you shouldn't be making. That's all I got to say about that.
Next up, government involvement. If you like that clip, go ahead and hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe to catch up on all of our latest content. Don't forget to hit the notifications button when you do subscribe so you can get updated every time we release content. We release content every day, whether it's an actual show or clips from the shows. So go ahead and subscribe, like, comment. Also, don't forget our Patreon page where you can find our Talking Straight-ish and After Hours Uncensored episodes. That's patreon.com/Unsolicited Perspectives. But once again, thank you again for listening to Unsolicited Perspectives. I'm your host, Bruce Anthony, and I'm going to catch you next time. I'll holla.